end of the Civil War was near when quite accidentally...
Louise Sorrell will join us at the top of the hour. We'll be up to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, Tony Figueroa and Donna Allen are with us for another edition of This Week in TV History. Tony's segment, as always, brought to us by our friends at Story Salon, Southern California's longest-running, regularly performing live storytelling ensemble. StorySalon.com, Facebook.com/Story Salon. You can enjoy Tony's standalone podcast This Week in TV History, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find audio. This particular segment with Tony and Donna originally aired in November 2015. Tony, what do you have for us tonight?
All right, so we are so full of milestones. It is pretty amazing when I've been putting this stuff together. So many different milestones. So we will start.
Is it because we're in a year ending in 5?
I think it is, but something tells me, last year was pretty milestone heavy, not as good as this year. Something tells me next year is going to be pretty milestone heavy, probably not as good as this year.
Well, the 65-66 season there were a lot of shows.
There was
that
a lot
came
of stuff, and I think there was definitely a paradigm shift in 65, 70, and 75.
And when we get to January, that was really the start of what we know as mid-season and second season. So we have that, and even in the 80s, even in 1985, because we got at least one that comes to the top of my head. There were some big changes. I think there were some big changes of, people returning. People known for movies coming to TV. There was a lot of that during that era, yes.
Yeah, so I think there was a noticeable shift of, let's say, television's place in the entertainment system. I think the pecking order started to shift a little bit there. So I think important that way, too. So let's go to September 14th, 1965. F Troop debuted.
With a bang and a boom.
Ugh.
With a bang and a boom, indeed.
Fun show.
Yeah, we were just talking about this before we started recording. It's kind of absurd, but it's like Borscht Belt comedians set in the Old West in a lot of respects.
Yeah,
sure.
In many ways. That's one of the reasons why I think I loved McHale's Navy so much. Not so much for Ernest Borgnine, who was one of the nicest people in the industry, but his whole team, the whole crew of the P-273. I mean, I would look at those guys, and you look at the Akawis. And a lot of the troop in Fort Courage. It's like this is about as close as our generation's going to see vaudeville, burlesque of that era, because they are products of that era. And so since that time was long gone before we got here, we can see people like that. I mean, not just Larry Storch, who's still around.
Who is still around and still
working, isn't he?
Still working. I mean, he still does a couple of personal appearances, once or twice a year, mostly on the East Coast. But he did a series of stand-up appearances last calendar year, 2014, to mark, I think, his 60th or 70th year in showbiz. So
he's 90 now?
I think he just turned 90.
So,
wow.
Yeah, that is amazing. And
well, and still in excellent shape. Still, very fit, and he still wears the Agarn hat in appearances. So.
Yeah.
No, for me, I think F Troop, which I mainly remember from reruns. Catchy theme song that tells you the whole story of what the show is. You've got Larry Storch, you've got Ken Berry, you've got Forrest Tucker. I have never been a fan of physical comedy. F Troop was the exception. I laughed on that show, watching especially Ken Berry. Larry Storch held his own. You had a really good ensemble. You had your Fort Courage ensemble, and then the Akawis. I'm going to say this: the Indian tribe.
Well, yeah.
As opposed to they were not Native Americans yet.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, this is 65. We were not quite as PC and as we are today. But and again, not at the risk of offending some listeners, I think if they did it back then, it would have missed the point. Because
yes.
it was farce in the way Bilko was a farce in a lot of respect.
And I don't think F Troop could be done today,
no.
the way it was back then.
Certainly no. No, I mean...
No, I mean, first of all the actors who played the Coways would be Native American.
Right. And you would have to get Native Americans who were funny.
Yes.
And not that there aren't...
No, there was a great comedian, Charlie Hill, who we lost recently.
Exactly.
Hysterical. But,
at the time, they were thinking in terms of old-time comedians. They were thinking... They were casting their roles in terms of funny first.
Mm-hmm. Which they achieved beautifully.
Yeah. Tony Figueroa and Donna Allen are with us as we remember the premiere of F Troop on ABC in September 1965. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Ed Robertson thanking you for listening to the TV Confidential podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss our next episode.
Hi, this is Les Adam, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson with a reminder that Louise Sorrell will join us in our second hour. We'll have to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, Tony Figueroa and Donna Allen are with us as we continue our look at the broadcast history of F Troop. F Troop, the comedy western starring Forrest Tucker, Larry Storch, and Ken Berry that was pure farce and slapstick, but in many respects a show that you probably couldn't do today, at least not in the same way. F Troop premiered 60 years ago in September 1965. This conversation with Tony and Donna originally aired in November 2015. Donna, you mentioned Ken Berry. I only recently watched this, believe it or not, the show for the first time within the last couple of years. And I knew he was a song and dance man because he did a couple of variety shows in the 70s, and he used to always do the Carol Burnett show like once or twice a year.
And he started in the industry as a dancer, I believe.
Yes, and you see his athleticism with a lot of the physical pratfalls that he did as Parmenter.
I think a lot of us of our age group, depending on whether you can remember these first run or if you're watching in syndication, I saw Ken Berry as, Sam from Mayberry RFD. I think that's my earliest memory. And then F Troop was much, much later. I remember Larry Storch and Forrest Tucker had a Saturday morning show called Ghostbusters with Bob Burns.
When was this?
1975.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was, I think it was the 1975? No, 1974-75 season.
It was around that time.
Yeah, and
it was a Filmation live-action show.
Okay.
Live-action show, and I think they had some arrangement also with Scholastic Books. Because of some of the characters were literature-based. Yeah. They started with traditional monsters and then shifted to literature. But they also had Bob Burns, who was Tracy the Gorilla,
right,
who I got to meet a couple of years ago, who is a wonderful Hollywood historian as well.
Yeah, he appeared last year at the event held at the Comedy Store, which was Larry Storch's last public appearance in Los Angeles. Yeah. Last performance in Los Angeles, because as we mentioned earlier, he does do public appearances, but he mostly stays in the New York area because that's where he lives, and he's 90 years old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Bob, anytime you saw a gorilla in a TV show, it was probably Bob Burns.
Yeah.
The Addams Family, I think it was Gorgo, or the one that eventually learned how to iron.
Yeah,
and
Bob
do laundry.
Burns and Jonas Prohaska.
Yeah. So I'm
they
not
pretty
sure
much
if he did the
cornered the market on that.
I don't know if he did the American Tourister series of commercials and magazine ads, but he did that basic Tracy Gorilla character. Yeah. He did a lot. But so I saw Forrest Whitaker and Forrest Tucker. Forrest Whitaker and F Troop would have been very different.
That would have been different.
Yes. But Forrest Tucker and Larry Storch, they did Ghostbusters together, and then I remember one of the local channels here started showing F Troop, and I was a little stunned to see the two of them working together. And they worked afterwards too. They did a couple of TV movies together, a lot of kind of buddy stuff before Forrest Tucker died suddenly while getting his star on the Walk of Fame.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. This was I'm thinking this must have been like 85, 86. He was there. Basically. They unveil, they have a cutout of a star with the name on it and a little rope attached to it, and they do the official unveiling of the actual star that's embedded in the sidewalk, and it's surrounded by red carpet. He was down, leaning down, and he was not feeling well, and they had to call an ambulance and take him away. They finished the ceremony with Honorary Mayor Johnny Grant, and I don't even think he made it to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center.
Wow.
I mean, it was very, all of a sudden, you're seeing it on the news, kind of breaking in the middle of the afternoon. Forrest Tucker had a heart attack while receiving his star on the Walk of Fame. Then by the time he got to the 6th, I think he was gone.
That's ironic.
Yeah, I mean, well, leave on a high note.
Well, I guess so. No, you go. Yes, that's exactly.
And so
that's the best way to look at it.
Yeah. I remember he and Larry Storch had done a couple of things together. But then, Ken Berry, to see him on F Troop, because I saw him on Mayberry and then Mama's Family, of course. And
I remember his episode at the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah, he did that, where he was one of the dancers, but he was teaching Rob judo. But to see some of the physical stuff that he did on F Troop was amazing. There's one like he's just walking and reading a book and not watching where he's going, and he trips over something else and then ducks, and just the amazing choreography that he put together, a lot of it. It was, you watch that, it is like watching Buster Keaton or Charlie Chaplin.
And I believe it's still, I think it's on either Saturdays or Sundays on MeTV, but it's still part of their schedule.
Yeah, MeTV has something on YouTube right now where they're commemorating the 50th anniversary. And we lost Melody Patterson recently.
That's right.
Who was the girl? Wrangler Jane.
Wrangler Jane, who was 16 when the show started.
That's amazing. And I think we've talked about this before. Younger people looked older back then, and they look younger. They look even younger today.
Yeah, I always assumed that Melody Patterson was an actress in her 20s, having no idea that she was 16 years old, which is something that they had to keep secret.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, nowadays you have, the kids on Glee who were 30.
Yeah.
Playing high school kids. Even the Sweat Hogs were, mid-20s going to the 30s.
Kathy Garver was, she was either 18 or 21 when she was signed to play Sissy, and Sissy was supposed to be 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny how that shifts.
Yes.
But MeTV did a nice job because they did a tribute to her. They aired, several Wrangler Jane episodes. By the way, MeTV has done a very nice job, and so does Antenna TV and Cozy TV. But, MeTV, I think especially when we lose somebody, they do pay homage.
Yeah.
And they even did it with Martin Milner, who Adam 12 has shifted over to Cozy TV, but they even paid tribute to him. So even if it's not somebody that on one of the shows.
Route 66, I think, is
still
part
on
of
MeTV,
their weekend lineup. Yeah, but no, they did one for...
Jack Larson, who was Jimmy Olsen.
That's what I'm thinking of. They did 2 Jimmy Olsen-centric episodes of Superman last Saturday.
And then, we also, around the same time that we lost
Melody Patterson, we lost Yvonne Craig.
And so Batman did 2 Batgirl episodes,
and
then Star Trek.
When she played the green chick.
Yeah. That's all you need to know. Yeah, she played the green chick. Yeah. So, I mean, just amazing watching this. And I love, like Donna said, the opening, the song. And you can see stock footage from the Warner Brothers library. But even when I was
That's the amazing thing. I was surprised to find out it was a Warner Brothers show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's always so cool at the end when they play Revelry over the Warner Brothers logo.
Yes.
I always, and even when they went to color and the opening was simplified the drawing, basically, that really cool-looking cartoon. But it's still ended with the Warner Brothers Shield and Reveille, which I don't know if that was what the thinking was behind it. Because I thought, I could see studio heads at that time not appreciating their logo being mocked in any way, shape, or form. Depending on the studio, but kind of. Reveille...
Certainly not Jack Warner. He was
exactly.
still kind of reluctant about television.
And, especially with, the studio that feared television and would not let TV sets be seen in their movies.
Or television machines seen in their movies.
But, Reveille, it's played very seriously.
Yes.
Like, when the logo comes up, it's like, this is the boss, It's, bordering on sinister almost. I always thought that was kind of cool.
What surprised me when I rediscovered F Troop as an adult, I was surprised to learn that it only ran 2 seasons, but 2 very different ways. The first season was in black and white. Second season was in color. All of the episodes hold up, though.
They do.
And I think the budget, for color, did impact the show a little bit. Just, location-wise, so they did suffer a little bit going to color because, they weren't getting any more money, apparently.
Right, plus ABC was number 3, so if ABC were in a better position ratings-wise, they might have shown a little more patience to a show that was middle of the pack in terms of ratings. But when you're number 3 back then, and number 3 by a long shot, you have to...
Number 3 in a 3 network.
Yeah.
It's a different world.
It's a much different world.
You can enjoy Tony Figueroa's standalone podcast this week in TV History, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find audio.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. That's 800-432-8150.